Welcome to lesson 6-1, and welcome to chapter 6. We're going to be talking about ratios and fractions and things like that. So first of all, our lessons on ratios and rates. So we're going to begin talking about what ratios really are. So first of all, as a reminder, ratios are a comparison. It's a comparison of two quantities using division. So basically, you're comparing two things. So we have 3 to 4, like you can write ratios in 3 different ways. 3 to 4, 3:4, which is 3 to 4, or 3/4, 3/4. So basically those are the 3 different ways we're going to organize our comparisons. A rate is a ratio with two quantities with different units of measurement. So basically we have a ratio just like this, but we're adding on units, which actually makes it make more sense, shows how it's actually used in real life. Like if you have 65 miles in 3 hours. So the miles and the hours are the units added on to our ratio here that makes it a rate instead of just a ratio. And then we have like $16 for 2 pounds. So we have the dollars and the pounds. Those are the two units that are added on to that ratio to make it a rate. Now, when we're talking about a unit rate, think about units, think of one. So unicycle, one wheel, uni. So we have that unit rate. It is a rate that is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1. So basically we change it to like $5 per pound. So maybe if I said $10 for 2 pounds, then you can simplify it down to $5 per 1 pound. So that would be 5/1 or 5:1. Okay, so we're really going to be focusing on reading different equations and putting them into ratios. We're going to be using ratios to convert measurements and things like that. So let's go ahead and try to do some of those examples. All right, let's go ahead and practice writing some rates or ratios. So if we have 4 goals in 10 attempts. So basically we're comparing how many goals we actually made to how many times we attempted to make a goal. So we are going to go ahead and write 4 over 10. Because we have 4 in 10 attempts, and so 4 to 10, and then we're going to go ahead and simplify. So just like anytime we use fractions or anything like that, you always simplify. So we're going to divide a 2 out of both of these, and we're going to have 4 divided by 2 gives you 2, 10 divided by 2 gives you 5, and so 2 to 5 or 2/5. You can also write it like this, 2 to 5 or 2 to 5. So you can write it in any of these 3 ways, your ratio. Number 2 says 5 feet to 5 yards. Okay, first of all, you might want to think, okay, right away doing 5 over 5. However, that is not true because here we're talking about 5 feet and then we're talking about 5 yards. So first of all, you got to know how many feet are in 1 yard. So first of all, you have to realize that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. Okay, so once we figure out that there's 3 feet in 1 yard, we can go ahead and multiply this by 3 so that we can go ahead and get our new rate. So we have 5 feet and 5 yards. So if we want to figure out how many feet there are here in 5 yards, you do 5 times 3 and you're going to get 15. So we've changed this 5 yards to 15 feet. So now that we will have 5 feet over 15 feet, because now we can compare them. You can't compare 1 foot and 1 yard and acting like it's the same because it's not. So we have 5 over 15, then we're going to simplify, divide a 5 out of both, and we're going to get 1/3. Or you can write it 1 to 3 or 1 to 3. Either or, any of those ways are fine. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 3. It says $183 for 4 concert tickets. So basically right here, what we want to do is to find a unit rate. Okay? So if we have 183 over 4, we want a unit rate, which means we need to get this denominator to 1. So in order to make it 1, we need to divide by 4. So let's divide by 4. Because if we know that there's $183 is for 4 tickets, and we want to figure out how much 1 ticket costs, we need to go ahead and divide 4 out of both. So if I had 183 divided by 4, I'm just going to do my math small over here. So 4 goes into 18. It goes in about 4 times, which gives you 16. You subtract. 18 minus 16 gives you 2. Bring down your 3. So now we have, how many times does 4 go into 23? About 5 times. So 5 times 4 gives you 20. Then we subtract and we get a remainder of 3. So, but we're going to keep going because we're talking about money, so there's a good chance we want a decimal because we're going to have some change. So we're going to add a 0 and bring it down. How many times does 4 go into 30? It goes in 7 times. You're going to get 28. And then if you do 30 minus 28, you're going to get a remainder of 2. Bring down another 0. And now we have 20. How many times does 4 go into 20? It goes in 5 times. So basically we have 45 and 0.75, which tells us that for one ticket, it's $45.75. So that's our final answer. Alright, so this is using a unit rate. So anytime they ask you to make a unit rate, set up your ratio like you would up here, 183 over 4, and then you need to get it to the denominator to be 1. So how do we get from 4 to 1? We divide. So, alright. Let's look at another example. Now this one is a little bit more confusing because we're going to be dealing with a lot of units, or different types of units, a lot of different types of measurements. So we're going to be dealing with miles and feet and minutes and seconds and all of that stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our problem first and then we'll talk about it. It says a skydiver is falling at about 176 feet per second. How many miles per hour is this? So first of all, I see that it's 176 feet per second. So this is per 1 second. Now basically, at the end of our whole problem, we want some numbers and we want it to be, we want miles per hour. So we want miles up top and then we want an hour at the bottom. But we have a problem here. Alright, so we have 176 feet per second. And we need to get to miles per hour. So we need to figure out how many feet are in a mile and how many seconds are in an hour, okay? So that's when we're going to have to use conversions, all right? So basically we need to use some facts. So we have our problem, we know what we want to get to, but now we have to figure out how many feet are in a mile. So let's look at it. We have 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So I'm going to set this up in a very special way, because I'm going to put 1 mile in the numerator, and I'm going to put 5,280 feet in the denominator. Now, why am I going to do this? That is because I want to cancel out my feet. Because in our final answer, we no longer have feet in our units. So I know that I have to put this 5,280 on the bottom because I want to cancel these out. Okay? So now, I'm going to think of another conversion, which is that there's 3,600 seconds in an hour. So, I have seconds in the denominator, so that means I need to put the seconds in the numerator so that we can cancel those out, cross-cancel them. So that's how I know that I need to write my 3,600 seconds in the numerator instead of the denominator. So 1 hour. Alright, so now we know that we can cancel out the seconds up here and here. Now remember, only the numerators and the denominators can cancel. So I have feet in the numerator, so it can cancel because there's a feet in the denominator. I have seconds in the denominator, so I can cancel it because there's seconds in the numerator. So basically, these units are the ones telling you what to do. So since I see feet in the numerator, I'm like, okay, so I know that there's 5,280 feet in a mile, so I need to put my feet in the denominator so I can cancel it out. Okay? So that's how it kind of tells you what to do. So now, after we've gotten rid of all of these units, we now have 176 times 3,600, and we have miles in the units, miles, over 5,280 hours in the denominator, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and multiply and then divide. So once you multiply 176 times 3,600, you're going to get 633,600 miles over 5,280 hours, okay? So then we need to go ahead and divide. So once you divide those two numbers, you're going to get 120 miles is still in the numerator and hours is still in the denominator. So this is 120 miles per hour or 120 miles per hour, and that will be our final answer. Alright, I know this conversion questions can get a little confusing, but if it does confuse you, please rewind it and watch it one more time. There's also another example in your textbook that is already done for you, so you can go ahead and look through that one again, and come tomorrow with questions. I'll be happy to answer them. So let's go ahead and see if you can do one on your own and on your own questions.
Alright, you have 5 problems to do for me. Numbers 1 and 2, go ahead and turn into a ratio and put it in simplest form. Numbers 3 and 4, make it a unit rate, so that means you want the denominator to be 1. And number 5, go ahead and convert 20 miles per hour to how many feet per minute. Use the conversions down at the bottom. There's 5,280 feet in a mile and 60 minutes in an hour. Alright, good luck. We'll see what you get tomorrow.